we're going to do in this video is search for a class at UW-Madison and add it to our wish list or shopping cart in preparation for enrollment. So here we are in the Student Center, and I'm going to click on this Search for Classes button, which brings up this page. And the first thing to do is to make sure that you're searching for the right term. And if I click here, you can see the 3 terms that are currently available for search. I'm interested in spring. Now the university has 14 schools and colleges that offer courses, and you can see them here, and you can search that way. But what I normally like to do is bring up the course subject drop down here. This is a list of the 200 course subjects that are offered on campus in the more than 160 department and programs that exist in the schools and colleges on campus. I'm interested in geoscience, so I'll scroll down here till I get to geoscience. And you'll notice there are other filters you can use to search for classes. The Show Open Classes Only checkbox is very useful. But what I normally do is scroll all the way down to the bottom and hit the search button, which brings up all the classes that are being offered in the geoscience department. And you can see there are 34 of them, and they number from 100 to 999. The classes get more difficult as the number goes up typically. Our undergraduate level students are taking classes numbered 100 to 699. Our graduate students are typically taking classes from 300 up to 999. Now let's look at the first class here, Geoscience 100. And you'll notice in the middle there are some little letters. Those are codes or indicators for what kind of class it is, and these are most useful to our degree students, so you can pretty much ignore these. The P stands for physical science, the E is the level of the class. What's most important for you is to look at the box labeled prerequisite. Now the prerequisite is the course that you should have taken before you think about taking this class. And maybe you took this class on our campus a long time ago, but more likely you took the prerequisite class somewhere else at a home university or, long ago. So you should be paying attention to what that says, because you don't want to be taking a class that you don't have the prerequisite for. Now this class, Geology 100, is open to freshmen, so it really doesn't have a prerequisite. It's open to pretty much everybody. Now next we're going to look at how the class is set up on the campus. And for this I always go into the enrollment packages view first. I'm going to click here. This brings up this grid, and what this grid is telling me is that there are 2 lectures of General Geology 100. There's a lecture 1 that's offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and if you'll see it says 11. If you don't see an end time, classes are typically 50 minutes long, so that class would end at 11:50. There's also a lecture 2, which starts on Tuesdays and Thursdays as well, but at a different time at 1:20. Now you'll notice under each of the lectures there are a different set of discussion sections. If we just look at the second lecture, you'll see that there are discussion sections 310 through 318. When you sign up for a class, or if you're interested in a class, you have to be able to go to the lecture and the associated discussion section. So make sure you understand that. And the discussions may be at a different time because they're not at the lecture time, and you can see that on the right. Now the other thing that this grid shows us is how many seats are still open in the class, and you can see that on the left. The red box indicates it's closed, and the green circle indicates there's still spaces available. Now there have to be open seats in both the lecture and the discussion section. And so let's say we're interested in this discussion 317, which goes with lecture 2. You can see there's seats in both the lecture and the discussion section. So that's the one we're going to be interested in. And we might remember that this is lecture 2, because now we're going to go back to that other view that I was talking about. We'll hit return here. Now when we go to the view sections view, this brings up the same information we were just looking at before, but it's not together, so it can be kind of confusing to understand. That's why we looked at that other view first. You'll see the lecture 1 and 2, and then below you can see all the discussion sections that were associated with the different lectures. Now, what I want to do is get a little bit more information about this class. One of the first things you'll notice here is that this is the first time we see units listed. Units are also credits. This is a 3-credit course, which is an indication of how much time you may be spending in it. It also may determine how much you'll pay for this class. So let's go into Lecture 2. Remember, that's what we were interested in. I'm going to click here. At the top, we can see when the lecture is being offered, where it's being offered, the instructor, Professor Alan Carroll, and the exact meeting dates. You can see as we go down here a few other things like the subject notes. If you had questions about this class, here's the contact information, the phone number, the department website where you would go to ask for more information about this class. We also see how many spaces are available. And this is the first time that we actually see the description of the class listed there. And then below that, you'll see something that's very important to pay attention to, which is the exam time. Most classes on the campus have a final exam time, and that's set, and you have to be able to make that final exam time. And if you're scheduling other classes, make sure that your exam times don't overlap. Now next we see some information about textbooks. Not all professors have listed the textbooks that are being used, but often you can find good information here. Now let's go back to View Search Results. And let's say we're interested in this class. It looked good. We will now go and select the class. And I'm going to click here. This brings up this page. And you'll recall that there is a discussion section connected with this class. We remember that we were interested in discussion 317. I'm going to put a little check mark there. And this shows you that the discussion section is actually in a different location, and this is the instructor for the discussion section. This may be a person called a teaching assistant, a TA. So I'm going to hit next. This just shows me what I'm trying to add to my shopping cart. I'm going to hit next again. Again, here's a little bit more information about the class. Now you can see the whole bundle coming together, the lecture and the discussion. And now I get this message that says that this class has been put into my shopping cart. And it says you're not enrolled. You're not enrolled at this point. You've just put this as a possibility in your wish list. Now, if you're wondering where that wish list is, you got to go up here and click on course enrollment. And you have to hit spring, which was the term you were interested in again. And this will now bring up your shopping cart, which shows the class that you've added. Now, if this is the only class you wanted, you're in good shape right now. But if you need to add another class, you would simply go over to this Search for Classes button and repeat the process.